I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, March the 14th. And first of all, I want to apologize for not having one for Tuesday. And I'm just going to warn you right now, there's not going to be one for Thursday either. Just right in the middle of bull sale season here, and it's hard to get around to every place I need to be and drag this equipment with me and everything. And I'm not about to start putting out those cheesy cell phone videos, so I'll spare you those. But appreciate those of you that watch on a regular basis, and try to have it here regularly for you. But new crop calves are kind of hurting the calf market as we get into this week. A lot of those old crop calves, those lighter calves that were born at a time where they just didn't have enough chance to get strong enough to take the winter. Those hard wintered thin calves that have been selling for the last several weeks. Really stocker cattle, short yearling type cattle. Those were the cattle that everybody wanted. Now we're starting to get into those new crop calves that's mama's had all they wanted to eat and giving them all that milk. They've short weaned. They're just not as attractive to buyers that want to turn cattle out to graze. They don't have as much compensatory gain. We're getting a lot more of those type of fall calves selling right now than what we had been selling here towards the last several weeks of the late winter here. And it is pressuring the markets. You're just not going to give as much for a fat calf as you are a calf weight yearling or a hard wintered like calf. And we're seeing that in a lot of the markets around. Another thing that's kind of hurting is keep an eye on these grains and some of this feed. You know, all this cattle deal is fun and games until the feed starts to get high, and you might want to keep an eye on your corn market and things like that. Hay's already high, so if that's a big part of your ration right there, whether you buy cheap hay to grind up or whether you're buying good hay to get calves started on, it's definitely getting higher, and a lot of competition out there for it. It's been dry around a lot of places. But let's look at the board for Tuesday. Your June live cattle futures were down 12 cents on Tuesday, ending the day at 113.15. April was up 35 cents at 121.90, and that's a spot live cattle, as we did have some trade on Tuesday and sitting down there under 122. We're getting pretty close to April. It needs to prop up a little bit. You notice your August live cattle way off in the distance is down under $1.11. So we've got a big wall of cattle coming, and the feedlots are slam full. But feeder cattle for April down 27 cents at 142.30, and your March spot feeder cattle contract down 62 cents at 141.55. Fat cattle trade, we did have some trade on Monday, although not a lot of it. Only 400 head, and just a few loads up in Iowa, and they sold live from 127 to 130. Of course, they've been selling at a premium, and you often get a handful of deals up there in the northern plains real early in the week, and it's not enough to set the market by any means. Now, we started out with trade early on Tuesday. It wasn't a late day trade. In fact, we had stuff that come in through mandatory reporting at the 2 o'clock deadline that were reported from earlier in the day. In Texas had 900 head at 127, and in Kansas had like 6,000 head from 126 to 127, but heavier on the 127 with the weighted average there at 126.70 or thereabouts. But ended up having more trade later in the day that will show up on Wednesday's reports. But at 126 to mostly 127 in the southern plains, it's not bad. You know, the reports are calling it $1 higher. It's really not $1 higher, because if you remember, we had that Friday trade that was at 127. So, but they're holding in there pretty decent at that 127. A lot of us thought they maybe could gain another buck, with the Packers kind of showing their hand last week, late in the week, that they wanted to buy more cattle and giving that extra buck late in the week. But we was at least able to hold on to that for the most part. We'll see what the northern plains gets here as we get into the meat of the week. But box beef cutout values and the slaughter are all running about par. Nothing to shake anything up about. Your cutout levels are a little bit stronger than the average of last week's trade, and your slaughter is running real close to a year ago and last week. Let's look at your feeder markets. Real-time index on Beef Market Central sitting at 142.44 late on Tuesday. That's about 90 cents lower than the end of last week, and so we've had some lower sales around this week. You look at some of them. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City had 9,200 head on Monday. Their feeder steers weighing in the 600 to 800 pound category were steady to a buck lower. The 800 to 1,000 pounders $3 to $4 lower, and it's not that they think that those lighter weight feeders will take until we get into October to get ready. They're still going to fall in that bad part of the board, but it's just that they got more time to cheapen them up. The cost of gains are running well under what the market is, and you just got more time on those to start cheapening those cattle up. Feeder heifers are out $3 lower. Calves selling $1 to $5 lower, and that's where I'm telling you those new crop calves are really hurting the market. Joplin Regional Stockyards on Monday had 7,900 head there. Their feeder steers and feeder heifers weighing over 700 and 800 pounds on the steers, 700 on the heifers, were steady to $3 lower, which was similar to what they had in Oklahoma City. But the lighter weight cattle, they get more of the stocker type cattle over there as you get into the east. All those in the calves selling steady to $3 higher, and the full advance on the heifer calves and the lighter weight heifer yearlings there to turn out. But OKC West, 2,500 head at the calf sale on Tuesday, and they took the brunt of it. $8 to $10 lower on those calves. A lot of those calfy type calves, and you know they've had some moisture over there in Oklahoma, but you know it kind of draws a line right in that OKC West part. You get east of there, and they've had some pretty good moisture. You get back west towards the Texas Panhandle, and it just dry as a bone. So you know that, and the wind is really sapping a lot of the moisture that they did get out. A lot of people thought when it did start raining it would continue to rain, and we haven't seen a whole lot of moisture here for the last 10 days or so. West Plains, Missouri at the Ozarks Regional Stockyards on Tuesday, 3,400 head. You get over in that part of the country, they've always got attractive type grazing cattle over there. It's in the rocks. Those cows and the calves too have not always had everything that they wanted to eat. You get a more rugged type of a calf, more of what your Flint Hills, your Osage guys really want to turn out, and something that's got a lot of leg under it and a lot of stretch that will really put the pounds on when you start giving them some good grazing. But the calves there sold steady to $5 higher, and the Pee-wee steers $4 to $6 higher. But you look at some individual quotes. I wanted to give you plenty of them since we didn't have a feeder flash earlier in the week. At Winter Livestock Auction in La Junta, Colorado, and I tell you what, it's sure not wet there. I was through there just about a week ago, and I mean dry as a bone. But they always get some particular consignments of cattle, and this particular consignment are always really green, long time weaned, thin, just rugged, hard winter type cattle. And they had 84 head of these steers weighing 536 pounds, bring 208 in La Junta, Colorado, on the eastern ugly side of Colorado. Their lighter weight brothers, 66 head of them weighed 456 and rung out, bring 218. Now you think about, you may want to go out east and order some calves in there. They're not for free out there either, guys. Bluegrass Stockyards in Lexington, Kentucky on Tuesday had 55 head of steer calves. Little lightweights weighed 389 pounds, bring $2 a pound. Now look at some bigger type feeding cattle. Glacial Lakes Livestock in Watertown, South Dakota, 104 head of steers weighed 731 pounds, bring $158.75. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.